What's going on, everybody? This is Brian from SneakerFiles.com, and today we are showcasing what probably is one of the top 5 Air Jordan releases of 2016, depending on what your style is. This is the Air Jordan 1, known as Band, also known as Bred, also known as Black and Red, which I prefer to call them that. Now, these are set to release Saturday, September 3rd, 2016. Retail price will be $160. Now, there will be an on-feet video, which I'll have later in the week, as well as a comparison of a few different releases of the shoe, earlier releases. Nothing too crazy. I mean, I think it's kind of cool, but I don't have the OGs from '85. I wish I did, but unfortunately I do not. So won't be doing that. But we'll have a few cool things to come. Before we jump into the closer look, I wanted to go over a few things. First up, towards the end of the video, we'll talk about the hype, how hard these will be to get, things like that. But first up, also, I wanted to state that a lot of questions have been asked if these shoes are shattered backboard quality. So let's say the shattered backboard is a 10 on the quality scale. These would be about an 8 and 8.5. They are really nice, probably one of the nicer releases of 2016 from Jordan Brand as far as quality goes. It does lack in like one area, but other than that, like, it's really clean. The other thing I wanted to touch base on was the overall, the Jordan 1 was not the Band shoe, although Jordan Brand kind of like adopted that theme and everything because, it was a good marketing point. I mean, every time he wore the shoes, he was fined $5,000. So it's like, okay, why don't we just call these the Band? Like, the NBA doesn't want them in. But I think it's still, nonetheless, it's still cool. It was the Nike Air Ship that was the Band shoe. Now, bringing you closer to the details. So the overlays is actually a really nice leather, and for the most part, it is tumbled in areas. It's more of a premium. Now, where it lacks is the paneling, where it's black right here, and then this overlay and around the tongue. That is more of a synthetic leather. Not terrible quality. It's a bit stiff. Just around, of course, around the collar though, it is softer on here. It's not as thick as like the 2001 or even the Band 2011 outlet release, but it is nice. Same deal here. We got that nice leather, synthetic, as well on the overlays. Check out that tumble. I know a lot of you guys were saying, oh, the red doesn't match up. Well, this red does match up to the OG 1985 release. It doesn't match up to the 2001, or I don't believe the Band, it didn't either. So they did right by the Band 2011 release. They did right by making an OG. So the toe is very, very soft. Probably crease fast, but it's good quality, I would say. Good leather. Then of course we have our nylon tongue. Nike Air branding up top. And probably one of my favorite parts about the shoe is on the lining. So you got 8.5, which is the size. Then you got 84, 10, 18. So it's October 18th, 1984 with an X. And basically that was the year that, and the date and everything that the NBA sent Nike stating that every time you wore this shoe, you'd be banned. So, or not banned, but fined. So that was that. And basically it's supposed to look like the original release. So the original release, I believe, had the size, but then it had the product number. So instead they kind of did it that way. You can probably see the insides gutted out. I pulled out the liner. Inside of the tongue. And then really quick, all white liner, Nike Air done in that Varsity Red. And then it comes with 3 sets of laces. So we got the black one in there. Then it comes with white and then red. I would have laced them up, but this pair isn't mine. Big thanks to my friend who let me hold these early. Into the sole, just all red, straightforward. it's really weird because the 2001, I believe the band, and the 2011 band release, and I want to say the 2013, and in this pair, all use Varsity Red, but the shades are not all identical. Or they are not identical. Do once more over. And then we'll get into all the juicy details, what some of you guys may know already, some of you might not know. Just trying to help you guys out though, nonetheless. Alright everybody, so that was your closer look at the Air Jordan 1 Band Bred Black Red. They dropped September 3rd, 2016. Retail price will be $160. So overall, the quality is nice, other than the synthetic leather, which isn't terrible. It's a little stiff on the sides, but other than that, the tumbled leather is nice. It actually is somewhat like shattered backboard quality, other than the synthetic. Tongue is really, or not the tongue, but the tongue is a bit more padded than I believe the 2013 release. Definitely the 2001, and the toe is soft. And around the collar, it is padded to a certain degree as far as comparing to others, just off, what I've seen so far. Other than that, there's really not a ton of glue stains or anything crazy. Other than the only imperfection I did see on both shoes was, you might be able to see that, but down in this area, there's like a scrape. And it's on both shoes, so I'm not sure why that is. And you can see a little bit of like how it's cut, but that's nothing. I mean, definitely one of the nicer shoes I have seen from Jordan Brand this year. Other than it just look at that wobbly, that annoys me. Other than that, as far as the hype goes, you guys already know there's a ton of hype for the shoe, so we'll get past that. Limited versus general. So the best way to put it in perspective is, so all your retailers are gonna have them. So from your Finish Lines to your Cheiks to your East Bay, Nike store, the list goes on. But it's the amount of pairs they're receiving. So let's say a store like my local store, let's just use for an example. They got 50 pairs of the Jordan 1 or the Air Jordan 5 Black Metallic. That pair, and that's normal, say 50 pairs is normal, it's a general release. This pair, they'd probably get between 20 to 25. So it's not a lot of pairs that are going to be out there. And you have that stacked on with the hype, stacked on with people like myself that want 2 pairs of these. It's going to be difficult to get. Other than that, so you got to, if you want these, you got to be sure to enter those raffles. If you're copying online, wake up early, set your alarm 30 minutes early before they drop. Make sure your internet's working, no flaws whatsoever. It's just 100% smooth. And, and also you're going to have some luck on your side because, you got so many factories going on with other people trying to get stuff. And then you got bots, you got all this stuff. And, it's just the way the game is now. You just kind of have to roll with everything. But other than that, it's a cool release. There's also the Jordan 31s dropping. The Jordan Trainer 1 Low is releasing, both in this band theme. However, I'm going to guess that 85% of you guys do not care about either of those shoes. This is the one we're waiting for. I mean, the 31s look cool and the Trainer, they both look cool, but I definitely would take the Jordan 1s over either of them combined, So, other than that, later in the week, we're going to have an on feed of these as well as a few different comparison videos. And I'll get into why, once the videos go live, I'll get into why I chose to do 2 different instead of doing like a whole lineup once that goes live. So leave a comment below. Let us know what you think of these. If you plan on picking them up, which I'm sure you guys are. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to SneakerFiles.com. If you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe.